All right, what's up, my young brothers from another mother? This is for the early 20s guys. So listen up, young bucks. This is a 24-year-old in BC, British Columbia. And he says, after high school, went to college for 1 year for kinesiology, dropped out because it wasn't interesting me at the time, had no idea what to study. I was also accumulating debt through student loans, which felt foolish. If I didn't know what direction to go in career-wise, I also discovered the POA community around that time. For those of you who don't know what that is, that's pickup artistry, which generally means making cold approaches to random women and trying to get their number to date them. Dabbled in it a bit, had a ton of fun, but approach anxiety. Oh, didn't have fun, he said, just had tons of approach anxiety. Okay, moved downtown for the goal of getting good at pickup and to make up for my non-existent sex life. Felt a lot of guilt for not pursuing college, but this goal was important to me. Worked a few jobs where I lived there to pay my expenses, primarily in collections at a bank. That's interesting. So I spent a lot of time in the credit and collection industries throughout my entire 20s. Collections at a bank and sales for credit repair products. Was also going out several nights a week to meet women during this time. Had some success, but nowhere near what I expected I would have, primarily cause of approach anxiety and low SMV at the time. So after 2 years, moves back with his parents near the end of time downtown, met a girl, ended up dating for almost 2 years. So he got into what is one of the biggest mistakes guys all get into in their 20s, which is getting into a long-term relationship. Because what ends up happening is they struggle with women, then that one girl gives them the attention, and that usually ends up in some kind of problem for them, especially if in their 20s and they don't understand female nature and they're not fully red pilled and they don't, recognize the dynamics between men and women. And it's like, oh, this one girl likes me and she keeps texting me and she wants to be in a relationship, or I want to be in a relationship and I convinced her to do it, whatever the narrative is. And then they go and do that for 2 years. So let's see how that unfolds. For 2 years. So after I moved back, I spent a few months trying to decide my career direction. I was unsuccessful, got a job in a credit repair field again, although I didn't want to, just to keep income coming in. Job was good and had high income potential, so I took it out of necessity. After some time with my girlfriend, I realized that although we were compatible, I needed to be single. Good for you. I had a strong urge to meet other women and even regrettably cheated on her a few times, smartened up, and finally managed to end it. All right. Now I've been single for a year and not where I want to be with women or my career. I work in management now for the same company. I don't want to be in this field anymore, but don't know what career path to follow. Dude, trust me, if you're feeling that right now at 24, I started to feel that by 26, 27. I got into that business around 21, 22, and I left by 30. They packaged me and they sent me home. I was basically a senior manager. And I hated it. I would have been happy to have taken that package 2 years earlier. But if you're feeling that now, I'm telling you, dude, the feeling does not get any better. I don't want to be in this field anymore, but don't know what career path to follow. I don't want to be a corporate slave forever and hate the 9-to-5 rat race idea. Considering college, business degree, but unsure because it's 4 years plus forgone earning potential and student loans. I feel guilty for not having college education as a backup. Let's talk about college education and considering college for a minute. So considering college, a business degree. And so in Canada, we have two post-secondary education options here. It's college and university. So college here is basically, I think, what university is in the States, but most colleges here are community colleges. And they don't teach you anything. If I'm being honest, I did a 3-year program here in Toronto at Centennial, which I shortened to 2 years because I found after about a year and a half into it, it was the biggest waste of my time. And in actuality, I actually bounced before the end of the semester because I had an opportunity to go do some sales calls with my dad down in the US to sell electronic fans and switches, which was a business that he was getting started up around that time. So that was a long time ago. It was about 21, 22 or so. But never let school get in the way of your education. I'm going to say that again. Never let school get in the way of your education. For most guys, the only time I would say go to post-secondary, like get a university degree, not college is kind of a waste of time, but to go to either college or university is if you need the degree to get hired in the STEM field, science, technology, engineering, math, right? You want to be an engineer, you need that degree, a certain certification. Go do it. Fine, get it. But for business, you don't. You'll actually learn more out in the business world. Like if you take $30,000 and throw it at the school for a year or 2 years or whatever the tuition is today, I don't know. But whatever your tuition is for 1 year, I guarantee you could take that tuition and try to start up a business, and you'll learn more trying to start up that business using that tuition than what you will sitting in a classroom having some guy that failed at business try to teach you what business is all about. It just doesn't make any sense. Also, a lot of the courses that they put into these business degrees, they'll have a marketing course, they'll have an accounting course, they'll have legal courses sometimes. When you get in business for yourself, like when I started running my own business, like proper corporations, after I left the credit and collection world, I was, of course, doing everything myself. And I thought, okay, I have this business knowledge. I know how to do some basic accounting, but you figure out that that's not what you do. When you run a business, you're basically orchestrating everything. You're running the show. Like you're running everything from 20,000 feet. You're looking down at it and telling people what to do and making sure systems are in place. If you need accounting done, you hire an accountant. If you need legal work done, you hire a lawyer. If you need some marketing specialist, you hire that guy, right? Usually what ends up happening is A students work for C students. I'm not even kidding, dude. A lot of entrepreneurs that I know did not do well in school, never ended up getting a degree, and everybody that they hire to do their accounting work, the legal work, they're all A students. They hire those people, but they're making less money than what they are running the business, and they were C students in school. So it's just something to consider, right? Wants to build a personal brand by leveraging social media, YouTube, to build a large following, but not sure what I want it to be. So questions. How do I find my purpose career path? Is it worth it to go back to school? Covered that. Kind of covered that. We'll talk about that a little bit more. How to decide on a direction with an online business. Can I still pursue women as a high priority? And if not, how do I shift my focus from chasing women to chasing success when I do feel this void? Okay. Talked about school. As far as what direction to go with an online business, I'm going to talk about what not to do. And I'll put this out there now because later on this week, so I'm going to do this before this video becomes public. I'm going to do this learning event for my men's community this Friday. I'll record it and I'm going to send a copy to my email list. So here's a little tip. Get on my email list because I'm going to start putting out some learning events and some exclusive content that doesn't end up on the channel that will help you with stuff like this. You'll also get notified when my book's available, if I have any special offers or events that I'm doing. So get on my list. I'll put a card up on the top right up there. And when you do, you get my free 20 red flags chapter if you want to download it. This particular learning event, I'm going to be talking about what not to do in business. So I'm going to summarize the main points that I'll be talking about this Friday. Get on the list to watch the full video. But basically, stay away from anything that's product-based. So if you have to ship anything in the mail, a physical product, stay away from that. My preference is either services or digital products, which I'll explain in that learning event for my community, which you'll have access to if you get on my list. Stay away from anything that could be potentially affected by a COVID type scenario. So pandemic type of scenario, for example, because if it's a non-essential service, you may be shut down. So if you're thinking about opening up a nail salon, those things get shut down during pandemics. And I guarantee you this sort of thing is going to happen again. This is a very, very strong control mechanism that the state can use to limit restriction, movement, travel, all these sorts of things, the economy. So just keep in mind that I don't think that this situation where they have quarantines and shutdowns and masks is just a one-time thing. You can probably look forward to this happening again, whether it's a second wave or something in the future. They'll call it something else, Yovid or Hovid or whatever. Expect it to happen again. So that's the other thing. So stay away from anything that's a non-essential type business. So service or information product, stay away from pandemic type of businesses that could get shut down. The other thing is you want to look for something that you can build that's going to generate passive recurring revenue. A lot of people, like I'll use a real estate agent as a perfect example. They get paid when the house sells. They get a listing, they get their commission when the house sells, and then they have to go get another listing and do it again, over and over again. So they always have to eat what they kill. You want to create yourself a business where your customers come to you and they're always with you or over a longer period of time. If you're one of those guys that insists on a physical product, then sell a physical product that generates recurring revenue, right? Things that somebody needs over a long-term basis, like a head shave razor or like a facial razor, or something that they're going to get toiletry, shipped to their home on a regular basis, because night care routine, skin care, stuff like that. But you can also create recurring revenue from non-physical products, right? Community-based stuff, membership type of communities. Those are the main ones. Information type of communities that teach people certain skills or certain certifications, for example. Those are some of the better ones. So those are the main points. Get on my list to watch that learning event, because that's going to be quite a bit longer than what I'm going to have here to update you on that. So that's dealt with the business part. Can I still pursue women no, women should never be a high priority, dude. You're in your 20s. you can't possibly be asking me that question if you've watched more than 5 or 10 of my videos. No, it's on your purpose. Women complement your life. They're never the focus. Never, ever forget that. Okay. That's more true in your 20s for sure. Okay. And if not, how do I shift my focus from chasing women to chasing success when I feel this void from lack of success with women? Here's what ends up happening when you're successful. Something strange happens when you're a successful man. Women pay attention to you. Okay? If you're not successful at 24 and you're having a hard time with women, let's say 4 years down the road, you've done some work, you've doubled down. I'm not saying stay away from him, and I'm not saying don't engage with him whatsoever. But what I'm saying is don't get into a long-term relationship that takes your attention away from your purpose. Let's say 4 years down the road, you've built a business. It makes $3 million a year. You've got 17 staff. You've figured out some way to solve a problem that people turn to you on a consistent basis, and they're willing to give you money to solve that problem, right? That's all that a business really is. All of a sudden now at 28, 4 years down the road, you've improved your sexual market value considerably, because you've gone from living in your parents' house to having some debt and working in a credit and collections business to 4 years later making some serious bank, being recognized for doing something significant. You did link me your social stuff, which I'm not going to mention in this video, but you're a good-looking dude. Your social platforms come off as one of those, how can I put it? It's like, I get it because I can spot it, but it's more of like the try hard sort of thing. It's just the male version of the female version, where it's like, look at me and I'm an Instagram butt model and here's my tea bags and all that sort of stuff, and buy my fit tea. You're kind of doing it from the male perspective, which is kind of a feminized approach to it. You want to build value. If you want to build a high value presence or social presence, then you need to, it's very hard to fake. It's very hard to fake. You can have successful friends. You can go to your buddy's lake house and he's got $100,000 wake surfing boat and a Lambo in the garage, and hang out with those guys and take a few pictures and use that sort of stuff to try to signal value. But you can't fake it. You're far, far better off doing the work on yourself and going to achieve those things. As far as your look goes, I'd hone it a little bit. You got kind of like a metrosexual look. I don't know if you tweeze or pluck your eyebrows or if that's the shape, but it looks like you get that little bit of a metro look. You're fit, which is good. I mean, you'll be surprised the amount of guys when they give me the link and I'm like, ooh, dude's like, 27 and he's got a double chin. That's okay. But you're actually fit. Like, you look like a guy that takes care of himself. So just work on a more masculine look, because that's what chicks dig. Forget about the plucking the eyebrows or like the shaping of the lids or whatever. Don't do any of that stuff. Just focus on you, your purpose. Don't worry about pretending to be successful on social media platforms. Nobody cares. There's millions of people out there. Unless you're showing TNA, they're not going to look at it, right? So you're a dude. You've actually have the burden of performance, and you have to do the work on yourself. So go do that. Let's see if we missed anything else here. No, we're good. We are covered. So before we go, gentlemen, if you haven't considered joining my men's community, I'll put a card up on the top right up over here. Lots of excellent perks, access to premium content, stuff that doesn't go on the channel. You're going to get a very, very small sample of that in the learning event about what not to do in business if you're on that list. So definitely consider that. If you're not a member of that, just watch this video, explains how it works, and then the next steps are all down there and how to sign up if that's something that interests you. And if you want to request a video, card up on the top right over there, and download my red flag chapters, stay away from problem women, and get on my email list. Again, card up in the top right, and all of that is of course pinned in the top comment. Thanks for watching today's video. Gents, leave this guy a comment below. Let me know what you think. Let him know what you think if you have any other advice beyond what I've talked about over here. We'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.